best damn Learn-to-Juggle video ever made. I'm John McLean, most of the creator of Lazarus.com, helping internet entrepreneurs bring their online dreams back from the dead. And today you're going to learn to juggle. But even more importantly than that, you're going to learn why you should juggle. Okay, I'm going to suggest that before we even get started throwing the balls in the air and doing all the kind of things, that there's three really important benefits, three big reasons that you benefit from wanting to juggle: mentally, physically, and emotionally. All right, so we'll come back to the actual technique of juggling here in just a minute, but first, I want you to understand from the inside out how beneficial it can be for you to actually juggle. I mean, look, there's 10,000 videos online right now showing you juggle techniques, but I've never seen a single one that explains why, okay? So the first concept I want you to grasp is that juggling isn't about the balls. It's about you. It's gonna change the way, the person you are. It's gonna change how you interact with the world and how you interact with yourself. Just hear me out here, okay? All right, three important benefits: physical, mental, and emotional. All right, the first big benefit to learning to juggle, the mental part of it. Two words: brain plasticity. Now, if you're older than, say, 30 or so, when you were little, you were probably taught that we're born with a certain amount of brain cells and that they die off, one by one, by tens of thousands, depending on how much beer you have to drink. And then eventually you have very little left and you're a doddering old fool, all right? And we've discovered, though, or not me personally, but scientists and researchers have discovered in recent years, have done more work and learned more about the brain in the last 10 years than in the previous 10,000 years. And they discovered this concept called brain plasticity, which is that your brain can continue to grow and add new cells, new neurons throughout your entire life. In fact, there's a very large school of thought in neuroscience that we grow new neurons every single day. That's how we store the memories of what happened that day. For example, what happened to you today so far, before you've seen this video, you've grown new neurons to actually support those memories and hold them in place. Now we've discovered, scientists have discovered, that if you use your brain, it continues to be strong, just like with any muscle. And you can actually grow it. You can actually increase your brain strength, increase your brain rigidity, because the deterioration of it is what marks, the beginning stages of basically being a doddering old fool, okay? And the best way to do that is to learn something new, all right? It's to learn something specifically with your body. Now, it's all well and good to do the crossword puzzles, but the crossword puzzles doesn't make your brain any sharper, and it doesn't contribute to brain plasticity. It doesn't contribute to adding cells and mending the old ones, because that's just rehashing and recalling old knowledge. The fact that you remember who the star of Hogan's Heroes was doesn't have any actual beneficial use to your physical brain. Learning something new, like saying learn to salsa dance, or learning to tango, or learning to juggle, all right? That's a fantastic way to add brain cells. And the cool thing about those particular things, partner dancing or juggling, is that it's not just about this one thing. I don't know if you can even see this in the frame, okay? There's different things. Once you learn one pattern we're gonna learn today, you can learn others, okay? Learn all kinds of different patterns, and you continue to learn it. I mean, I'll show you a demonstration of my skills later on, but I've only been juggling about a year, and I've learned quite a bit, and there's still quite a bit I have to go. So that's the mental aspect of it. So the second benefit is physical. Now, a lot of people don't like going to work. You think your body likes to go to work out? I don't think so. I personally don't believe in gyms. I don't believe in lifting weights or doing anything contrived or artificial. I like to walk around, ride my bicycle, swim, and to juggle. I'll come back to this in a bit, but these are weighted juggle balls. They weigh a pound each. And I'll tell you what, you throw these in the air a couple hundred, couple of thousand times, you're gonna get some benefit from it. That's why I weigh within 2 to 3 pounds of what I weighed when I was a 17-year-old freshman at the University of Texas in Austin. And I'm a lot better shape, a lot fitter now than I was then. But I was pretty fit then, because I'm 6'4", and I played volleyball for the University of Texas men's team. I was a middle blocker and started. So I was pretty darn fit. And so I'm even fitter now than I was playing volleyball for UT. And in part, large part, because of juggling, because of the physical nature of it. So as if keeping your body strong and your mind sharp isn't enough, there's still one more. There's the third benefit that I talked about, and that's the emotional benefit. And it's a benefit I call getting into your puppy body. Look, here's the deal about juggling. When I first go to juggle each time, my brain initially goes, my mind says, what are you doing this for again? And I say, I'm not doing it for you. It doesn't know about neurons and brain plasticity, so I'm talking about not doing it for it to think about stuff. So I say to my mind, go think about some other shit, because that's what you do. You think about stuff. And I'm gonna juggle because it's for my body, all right? It's me getting into my body. And if you've had a chance to see the online videos I put up at Lazarus.com, then you'll know more about that. but it's about getting into your body, what I call your puppy body. Because what happens is you're juggling away like crazy, and then you're juggling and then you drop it. It's like, oh, hold on, let me go get, right? You grab the ball, you go, watch, here I go, I'm gonna do it again. And you really get into your puppy body, which is, I mean, if you think about like when you're throwing a frisbee, right, and your puppy misses it, you know, he gets it and brings it back to you, the puppy doesn't go, oh my God, can't believe I didn't catch the frisbee in my mouth, and my master's gonna be so ashamed of me. The puppy brings it back and says, I'll help you throw it better next time, or something like that. You know, your body doesn't care if you miss and you make mistakes when you juggle or when you learn Italian or do anything else. It's your mind that cares. It's your mind that's judging about this whole thing, right? The more you can get out of your head, let it go think about other stuff, and get into your puppy body, well, there's a lot of fun there. It feels really good. It's physically beneficial for you. It's good for you mentally because it's growing neurons. And it's good for you mentally because you're not thinking about stuff, or you're thinking about stuff in a different way, right, than doing this. And being in your puppy body means that you're alive, and you're healthy, and you're aware, and every cell in your body is just radiating love and peace and happiness. And I know it sounds crazy, but that's the way puppies go through life. And it's the way you can go through life. I mean, believe me, when you watch this whole video, you follow the progression I'm going to teach you and you learn to juggle, at the end you're going to go, yeah, I get it. I got my puppy body. I can feel it. You get hooked and you'll want to keep doing it. All right, so I lied. There aren't just 3 important benefits for you to learn to juggle. There's actually one more. There's a 4th, and it might be the most important one of all. Listen, think about it. For you watching this video, learning to juggle might just be a little crazy, right? It's a crazy thought. I'd like to suggest that's exactly why you should do it, because it is crazy. I'm going to tell you a quick story about 4 words that just might change your life if you apply them to everything that you do, to the decisions that you make. Now, back in the late 1920s, early 1930s, there were enough physicists in the world that felt like knew art, knew science, that all of them could get together every year and have a little conference and talk about what they'd been doing. And so they'd all come, all the famous names and that you know and heard of today, were gathered together back then, except for Einstein. Einstein never really went to these things. He was always off kind of doing his thought experiments and living on his own little island and doing his thing. And going, well, wait a minute, what if the flashlight's on the outside of the train and it's going the speed of light too, and we turned it to face the train, and whatever kind of thought experiments he did. But along that time, Werner Heisenberg and a couple of his colleagues had been playing around with some really interesting material, let's say. Now, Newtonian physics, of course, is the study of things that are really big. And relativity, the sort of physics that Einstein, the subset that he created and really popularized, was the study of things that are going really fast, approaching the speed of light, just right there. Now, quantum physics, this brand new physics that nobody had ever even heard of yet, was the physics of things that are very, 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 very small. And when you get into the very, 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 yes, I think 5 varies, small, things start to change and become very weird and different. And Heisenberg and his colleagues had found this out. And so they began to poke around in this area, and they'd look at things and they'd go, this can't be right. Let's check this again. So finally, somewhat timidly, they've collected all their information, all their data, and they bring it to this annual gathering of the physicists. They're going to present their paper, and they're very nervous. I mean, like, run to the bathroom and throw up, kind of nervous. And they're right in the front row is the 2-time Nobel Prize winning laureate, Niels Bohr, the Eminence Grise, the doyen of the physicists community there. He's ready to hear what's going on. So they present their findings, and they go, well, you get really small, and quantum this, and quantum that, and very apologetic about the whole thing. And they admit, they look, at the end, they look, we know this sounds crazy, but we keep checking and rechecking our data, and this is what seems to be the case. And they finish, and then Niels Bohr stands up and famously says, it might be crazy, but it's not crazy enough to work. Go make it crazy. And so they had permission from Niels Bohr. And they went and made it crazier still. They just crazied it up completely. And now we have quantum physics and everything that depends upon that. So I would suggest to you that the whole concept of asking yourself, for you, not for anybody else, but for you, is it crazy enough? And how that can inform and change and allow you to personally color outside the lines. Now, if you're ordinarily a very extravagant person, I mean, we're not talking about like Gallagher, prop comedian crazy, woo-hoo-hoo! That's not the crazy we're talking about at all. We're talking about something that's crazy for you. So if you're ordinarily an extravagant person, spends a lot of money, then perhaps saving that money instead of spending it would be crazy for you, right? You're the sort of person that never goes to church. You just make it a rule, never go to church. And a friend says, hey, come to my church with me. We've got singing. It's fun singing. You might go, well, okay, that'd be crazy for me to go to church. I think I'll do that. if you've always worked a 9-to-5 job? Well, then the idea of becoming an entrepreneur, well, then that's crazy, right? That's a crazy idea in and of itself. Especially if you're looking at maybe becoming an online or internet entrepreneur. But with the way the internet is growing, it really just makes sense if you're going to become an entrepreneur to look into that area rather than some brick and mortar thing. Just ask Hollywood Video or Blockbuster about brick and mortar these days. And if you have thought about becoming an entrepreneur, right now opportunities on the internet continue to explode. It's not over yet, all right? I mean, listen, there's approximately 2.5 billion people online right now, 2011. 1.5 billion of them came online within the last 12 months. Yeah, it's pretty staggering when it sinks in. All right? So, and in fact, as far as crazy, I'm not just a crazy juggler, I'm also a crazy entrepreneur as well. I have a site, Lazarus.com, Lazarrus.com, which I encourage you to go check out because I put up some free video trainings on there. If you are an online or internet entrepreneur and you've tried and failed, or you're just not quite there yet, or perhaps you find yourself stuck or blocked from succeeding in this face of this tremendous economic opportunity we have with the internet, well, go and watch the videos that I have online for you at Lazarus.com because they can really help you. And even if you're not an entrepreneur and you've never even heard of the internet, okay, still go check them out because even though the focus is towards internet entrepreneurs, you're going to be presented in these free video training modules with a whole idea, a model, and a concept of how habits are formed and how to change them than you've never been exposed to before, I guarantee you. And by the way, it's a lot easier to change your habits than you've been led to believe if you know where to apply the pressure, so to speak. And you'll also learn a whole new revolutionary model of personal change and growth. Again, it's focused towards internet entrepreneurs, but the lessons apply really to anybody. All right, so check that out at Lazarus.com. But meanwhile, let's get crazy and learn to juggle. All right, so we're going to go with the idea that it's crazy enough for you to learn to juggle. Very last thing before we get started, we need to talk about juggling balls themselves. All right, so these are the main balls that I use. They weigh about a pound each. These are specialty juggling balls that I ordered online. They're nice, they've got a soft rubbery coating on them, and they're big and bright, like me. I'm 6'4", 200 pounds, and so I like something big and bright the same way. Now, the great thing about these when you juggle something that's weighted, when you go outside, they've got a nice weight to them, unlike, say, tennis balls, which would blow away in the wind. It'd be hard to do. These stay put. No matter how stiff a breeze you got, these aren't going anywhere. The other thing, it might seem silly, little things add up. I mean, these are a pound each. You throw these a few hundred, a few thousand times, however many times you throw them in 20, 30 minutes or whatever of juggling, it really adds up. And not to be immodest, but you can see I've got some pretty good looking arms going here. I do not lift weights, period, ever. This is from riding my bicycle, dancing, and mostly from juggling. So you do that a few thousand times, that adds up. I mean, believe me, you juggle these things for half an hour straight, you won't be able to pick your arms up at the end of it. This is a squeeze ball. You can find these at your local sporting goods store, Dick's, Big Five, Academy, whatever you have in your neck of the woods. And they're usually in the, what I call the kind of women's section, the yoga mat section, kettlebell section, and they're meant for squeezing. I think most people just buy one of them and they squeeze it and they walk around, and maybe you could buy two and you could sort of walk around your neighborhood with them, because they have a good, again, they weigh a pound each. I think a pound is a good weight to have. They also make it in the half-pound versions as well. And so they're nice, and the great thing about these things, they have a real soft rubbery coating, as you can see, and you can push them and they deform. So what's nice is that when you drop them, they just stay put. So you can be juggling them almost anywhere, and boom, if they fall down, they don't roll off, into the street or into anywhere else. They just basically land and they stay right there. Really nice for beginning. So when I first started juggling, and I've only been juggling a little over a year, so you can get to a pretty good level in a reasonable amount of time. I stood over a bed, so I stood over my bed and I juggled over that because I'd missed so often that I didn't want to constantly be bending over and picking things up all the time. So you just might have seen me miss that one there. So I'll have to edit that out because I never miss. Right? Now, one of the things you're going to hear me say again and again as we go down this path of learning to juggle together is that juggling is not about the catching, it's about the throwing. I mean, really, it's about the space in here that you're creating, okay? You have these balls like this, and it's not the balls themselves, it's the space that's within it. It's sort of like Arnold Schoenberg's famously said about music. Music isn't the notes, it's the space between the notes, okay? Juggling is about the throwing, or it's even about the space between the throwing that we're creating here. That's the place we're playing. This is the canvas that we're painting on. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna teach you a series of progressions. A progression is a basic building block. the simplest component of learning to do something. We'll learn one, and then we'll go to the next one, the next one. So some people take 20 seconds or 2 minutes or 20 minutes to learn each progression, each little chunk of it. So learn it because you have the advantage that you can rewind this and rewatch it, and you can go off and you can practice it off to the side and then come back and then watch the next progression, okay? And learn it in your own pace rather than have me stand there glower at you going, okay, really? Yeah, you haven't got that part yet? Come on, let's get it going here, buddy. First progression, one ball. We're gonna throw that one ball up in the air from one hand to the other. If you're right-handed, start with your right. If you're left-handed, start with your left. It doesn't really matter. And specifically for throwing, you need to throw it up above the eye line. Up above the eye line, just like that. Up above the eye line. This is our first progression. This is the first throw that we're learning. From our right hand to our left hand to right hand. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and catch these, and later on we're gonna go ahead and take the catching out of the mix. Throwing it up and down. Now, your brain, in order to, as you can see me, your brain, in order to calculate where your hand needs to be, basically needs to see the first couple of inches of the descent of the ball, okay? And when it does that, then it knows where to go to catch it. That's why you can throw it in there and you don't have to be looking at your hand in order to catch it. Throw it, so you're looking up, like that, looking up. Your hand knows where to go to catch it. But that means you have to throw it up above your eye line. If you don't throw it, if it's not seeing it start to descend, so if you're doing this, if you're throwing it like too low, I'm just lucking out and catching it. So, because if it's not coming up and I can't see it start to drop. So for juggling, basically see how it's getting up nice and high over it, and I'm looking up. I'm not looking at my hands at all. I don't need to look at my hands to see them, okay? So you throw it up slightly above your eye line, because remember, you want to see it begin to descend, so you'll be able to catch it without looking at your hand. Then throw it to the other way, okay? Throw it up, catch it, go this way, and catch it. Okay, remember, juggling isn't about the catching, it's about the throwing. If you make a nice, good throw, nice and high, you can catch it without ever having to look at your hand. And you notice when you get it in your body, you notice I'm able to teach you juggling while I'm doing something like this. I'm not going to even be doing complicated patterns and saying the same things, because I'm not juggling with my mind, I'm juggling with my body, okay? All right, so it looks like this from the side, okay? You want a nice flat plane here. So throwing it up like that. You want to keep it kind of level to your body. If you find it out like that, work on that, I mean, the hard part when we learn anything initially, we have to go through our mind, okay? But the idea is we go through our mind, get it into our puppy body, and then our mind gets to go think about some other stuff, and we continue on. That's why you play the guitar, for example. If you're an expert guitar player, you don't sit there and going A, G, D, F, Z. Is Z a note? Sounds like a note. Z. Or whatever. You learn those things, but then you forget about them. And my friends who are expert guitar players, my friend Matt can sit here and play the most amazing classical guitar and tell you about how he got flooded out in Bangkok last week on a trip while he was there. Okay? Talking about something completely different while playing the guitar. Same thing with your body. So to start with, it's going to be a little awkward. We're trying to communicate with your body, and so we're just practicing, and that's why we do the repetition. You're going to practice throwing it, keeping it flat like this. If you find yourself throwing it a little bit forward, it's because you're leaning forward, okay? A little too close to you, you're leaning back. One good way to start is to stand against a tree or a wall, okay, with your back flat against it. That'll help you keep the throw right here in your body. Or you can actually just pretend or imagine one's back there, okay? So this is the first progression. Do this a bunch until you have it down. Then we'll go to the next one. All right, so you're doing great. Now we're on to the second progression, okay? This is gonna be 2 throws and 2 catches, okay? Again, if you're right-handed, go first with your right hand. Left-handed, go first with your left hand. And it's gonna look like this. You're gonna throw this one in the air, okay? And as it's beginning to come down, you're gonna throw the second one, okay? What happens? You're waiting for this to start to come down, because once it starts to come down, those first few inches of the descent, your brain is tracking it. That's when you know how to catch it. That's when you can forget about it and move on to the next thing you're going to do, which is to throw the second ball. So you throw it up in the air, you wait till it's starting to come down, now your brain knows where to catch it, then you throw the other one up in the air, okay? You catch that. It's gonna look like this. Here's the finished product. Throwing it up, starting to come down, throwing it up. Left hand throwing it up, starting to come down, throwing it up. Throwing it up, starting to come down, throwing it up. Throwing it up, starting to come down, throwing it up, okay? I'm gonna try to do it in slow motion for you, okay? I've been practicing my slow motion skills. The laws of physics, they mean nothing to me. I scoff at them. I think the laws of physics are crazy, but not crazy enough, okay? I'm gonna slow it down, slowing down physics. Okay? So do that, okay? Work on that. Get it from the side, it looks like this. Throwing it up, catch, throwing it up, catch, throwing it up. And mix it up, do it both ways. So if you start with your right hand, the next time you do it, start with your left hand, okay? Okay, so now it's time for the third progression, okay? And what we're gonna do with the third progression, we're gonna make 3 throws and 0 catches. For now on, we're not gonna worry about the catches so much. We're mostly focusing on the throws because, again, juggling is about the throwing, not the catching, right? Did we do that? I feel like late night TV's Craig Ferguson. I feel like we like him a lot lately. I need to stop that. I don't even own a TV. I don't even watch him. I don't even know who he is. It's crazy. Okay, so 3 throws, no catches. Okay, if you're right-handed, you're gonna hold 2 in one hand, like this. You're gonna have one kind of cupped in this hand and one in your fingers like that. Okay, if you're left-handed, obviously the opposite. One here, so that way you can throw it up and you still have the other one in your hand. You can get it ready to throw. So it's going to look like this. You're going to throw one, just like we did before. As it's starting to come down, you throw the second one, okay? And then as that's starting to come down, you throw the third. Now you're throwing them, although you're not catching them, throw them in the general direction of your other hand, because eventually you will be catching them, okay? So it's going to look like this. Throw, throw, throw. No catches, okay? 0 catches in there. If you're left-handed, it's going to look like this. Throw, throw, throw. Okay. Once again, I'm going to do my crazy physics, stop the laws of physics thing and do it in slow motion for you. Got to get into my Zen self to do that. Okay, here we go. 3 throws, no catches. This is the third progression. Okay, so practice that third progression until you have them good, until they're in the general vicinity of your hand, close to your hand. They're flat against your body. 3 throws, no catches. Then you're ready to move on to the next one. Fourth progression. You're doing great, by the way. I'm really proud of you. Let's keep going, okay? Let's keep going. Let's go deeper. All right. So now the fourth progression is 4 throws. To do 4 throws, that means we're going to add back in 1 catch, right? Okay. So it's going to look like this. We're going to throw. If you're right-handed, again, we'll start right-handed. Throw it up in the air, okay? That starts to come down. You throw the second one. Okay, you're going to catch that first one, okay, that's there, and then you're going to continue to get rid of the other balls, okay? It's going to look like this, okay? I'm going to do it in fast motion first, and then I'm going to try my Zen slow down physics trick second. I find that slowing the trick down like that can make it really easy because your body can absorb what's going on more than your mind. Your body can go, oh, I throw that up, oh, and I do that there, oh, and then that through, I get it, okay? All right, so here we go. Throwing it up, throw, catch on. Okay, so remember, we only want to make 1 catch. So we catch that first one that we throw, okay, in order to catch it, because as this one's coming toward it, we have a ball here. You never catch a ball. I mean, there's advanced tricks you can do, but you never catch a ball when you already have a ball in your hand. You always get rid of it first, okay? So as it's coming down, like that, you're getting rid of it. So it starts to come down, you get rid of it. It's going to look like this. I'll start with the left hand for this one. We're going to just throw it. We're only going to make 1 catch, but make 4 total throws. Throw, 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 like that. Okay? And get rid of them. You always want to end up with either all the balls in your hand or none in your hand, right? I mean, I'm a pretty good juggler now, and when I fail, I like to fail spectacularly. I want to miss every single one of them. If I just miss one, I'm like, really? That's it? I missed that one? What? I need to miss them all because it was so complicated or whatever. So let me do the slowing down physics thing for you here now. So here's the left-handed version. Okay, 4 throws, 1 catch. All right, last progression. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna do 5 throws. That's 5 throws, which means 2 catches, okay? So here's what it's going to look like. Again, if you're right-handed, start with your right hand. Left hand, start with your left hand. Throwing it up, and then you have the other one there available to throw with the other hand, okay? So I'll start with my left hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what we did is we caught the first 2. So remember back, flashback to what the very first thing that we did was, well, actually the second thing we did, but the first thing we did was we did from here to here, okay? The second thing we did was when we had 2 balls, we threw 1 up like that and caught it, all right? 1 up and then we caught it. So basically we're doing that, and then we're just adding 3 more throws on top of that. Does that make sense? Okay, so it looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And again, as best you can, try to throw them in the general direction of your other hand, okay? Because what we're going to start doing after this is now we've done 5 throws, we're going to go on to Well, 6, of course, and then 7, and so on after that. All right, so now I'm going to do it in slow motion, my Zen super defy the laws of physics slow motion version of 5 throws. Ready? Here goes. So once you master the 5th progression, the game is this. Keep adding throws. That means add a catch each time. So it looks like this. You're going to go 1, 2, 3, and then you catch the 3rd one. Maybe and you messed up, okay? So your goal is to get to 6 throws, okay? So you're going to go, I'm going to make 6 throws. That means 3 catches. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, okay? As long as you get 6 throws off, okay? So the game becomes, you throw it to one side to the other, okay? Right before it gets there, as it's coming down, you throw that one over. And if you catch it, another one, you get to play again. So you get to 5 throws, which we've done already, then you get to 6, all right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Just keep on going. Now, you might not go from 6 to 11 right away. It might be 7, 7, 7, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and so on. I remember I taught my youngest, Annie, when she was, she's 12 now, but when she was 11, I taught her to juggle. And she did just that. She got to 4, and 5, and then 7, and then 10, and then 17, and then, and then 100, which is Chinese, 100 is Chinese for stop counting. So, but for her, she stopped counting at 17. So she's like, okay, I got it. Just keep on going. Then it's just a matter of just continuing to do it, okay? So keep on going, catch it, and go again. The amazing thing is that once you got to 4 throws, that's juggling. That's a whole circular pattern. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you already did a full pattern. Now, you juggled already. If you got to stage 5, you're a juggler already. So congratulations. Give me a virtual high five. Don't leave me hanging here. Don't leave me hanging. Okay. All right. Fantastic. All right. So I'm going to teach you a bonus extra trick. What happens with a lot of people when they reach the stage that you're at right now? If you've gone through the 5 the progressions that I've taught you, somewhere around there, sometimes around the 4th progression. And by the way, don't be worried if you do a progression, if you do the 3rd one, and then you suddenly seem to forget the 2nd one. Okay, you seem to step backwards. That's part of the learning of anything. Just go back, remaster the 2nd one, do the 3rd one again, and the 4th one, and so on. Okay. Lots of times when people get to the phase of they've got the 5th progression in their belt and they're trying to get to the 6th throw, in other words, really just keep it going in the 7th, suddenly they get terrible. They go back to 0 again. Because what happens, they get in their head, they get in their mind, and their mind says, what are you doing? You don't know how to juggle. You got up this morning, you weren't a juggler. How can you be a juggler now? That doesn't make any sense to me. Again, politely thank your mind for its input. Let it know that your body's capable of learning things as well. It's not just your mind, okay? Don't go off and think about stuff and come back to business. But here's a little trick that will help you, okay? If you get stuck in your head a little bit about learning to juggle, about going, I was doing it, but now I don't have it anymore. You do this, okay? I'm going to back up a little bit and walk towards you as you walk and juggle at the same time, okay? All right? So, when you're walking and juggling, what that does is give your mind just this extra little level of something that it has to think about, okay? And it seems to just, it's something I created and it seems to help people go, okay, well, now my mind's thinking about that. Actually, you can find yourself back in a rhythm, back in juggling again. So if you find yourself get stuck or blocked or regressing, just start walking while you're doing it, okay? All right, thanks for playing. Thanks for watching the best damn Learn-to-Juggle video ever made. Now I'm going to be putting some others up online as well, teaching you a couple of additional, kind of the next basic little tricks and so on that you can practice and get good at. The next one's going to be learning to juggle 2 with 1 hand. We'll add that into the mix, and then we'll go from there. Nothing too complicated. We're not going to do all kinds of crazy, freaky stuff to start with, okay? We're going to get to know each other first, and then we'll do the crazy, freaky stuff, okay? Like that. Now, again, I have this Lazarus.com site, Lazarus.com, and up there I put some free video trainings, but that's only for people that are looking to become online marketers or looking to make money online on the internet. So if you have a 9-to-5 job or you do something you're happy with, then that's not really anything you're going to learn. I mean, you'll learn how to change habits in your body, and you'll learn how your mind and your body work together, but the real focus is for people, for online marketers. Okay, just want to let you know that. So if you do stumble onto that site and you hear me talking about the internet a lot, well, that's why. That's who it's for. People that are looking to take advantage of this tremendous explosion that's on the internet right now. Go into Juggle, visit Lazarus.com, and remember to love yourself. Thank you.
Lazarus.com, the most popular inner game training for online marketers in the world.